Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Hidden Side of Deception. I'm Hannah, and today we're tackling a question that resonates with so many people, both those who have been betrayed and those who have done the betraying. Why do people cheat?
And I'm Ryan. It's a fundamental question because to truly understand infidelity, we have to look beyond the act itself and at the underlying reasons. What we see on the surface, the affair, is often just a symptom of a much deeper problem. Today, we're going to explore those root causes, those unhealed wounds, and those unmet needs that for one reason or another aren't being fulfilled.
That's a key point, Ryan. Infidelity rarely appears out of nowhere. It's often the result of an accumulation of dissatisfaction or a breakdown within the relationship. And one of the primary places these breakdowns start is in communication.
Absolutely. One of the most common drivers of infidelity is a chronic failure in communication. When a couple stops talking about what truly matters, when conflicts are left unresolved and emotional needs aren't expressed, it creates a void. As they say, nature abhors a vacuum. The unfaithful partner seeks to fill that space, often unconsciously, with someone else. They feel misunderstood or unheard and find a confidant in another person.
In my experience, this is what often leads to emotional infidelity. It's not that the person wants to hurt their partner, it's that they feel so lonely and disconnected that they find a safe haven in someone else to talk about their problems, dreams, and fears. And that emotional connection, that sharing, becomes a substitute for the intimacy that's missing at home.
And this ties directly into the issue of unmet needs. People often seek infidelity what they are not receiving in their primary relationship. This could be validation, attention, admiration, or even just a sense of being desired. I remember a case where a client, despite being in a stable relationship, felt invisible to his partner, who was very busy with work and children. He found in a female colleague someone who listened to him and made him feel important again. There was no physical contact, but the emotional connection was so intense that it nearly destroyed his marriage.
And we can't overlook low self-esteem. Sometimes infidelity has nothing to do with the partner, but with the unfaithful person's own insecurity. Cheating becomes a way to prove to themselves that they are still attractive, desirable, or valuable. It's a desperate attempt to fill an internal void, a lack of self-love, by seeking validation from others that they can't give themselves.
Yes, and in the digital age, this has become even more complex. Cyber infidelity can be a manifestation of this low self-esteem. A like on a photo, a flattering message, becomes a small dose of dopamine that feeds that fragile ego. The person can feel powerful and desired, and that feeling can become addictive. It's a vicious cycle. They feel bad about themselves, they seek validation online, they find it and feel a little better, but the guilt and secrecy make them feel worse again.
And the person committing the infidelity often believes they can keep it a secret, but as we've discussed in previous episodes, their behavior changes. The warning signs become apparent. The secrecy with the phone, the emotional distance, changes in routine, new attention to their appearance. The lie has a weight, and that weight eventually becomes visible.
And it's at that point that the psychological consequences become most palpable. For the betrayed person, the betrayal can be a devastating blow to their identity. They can experience trauma, questioning their entire life and their judgment. For the unfaithful person, the consequences are no less significant. Guilt, shame, the fear of being discovered, and internal conflict can lead to anxiety, depression, and a loss of self.
It's a path of pain for both parties. But do you think the damage is always irreparable? Can trust be rebuilt?
It's a tough question, but the answer is yes, it's possible, though it's a long and challenging road. To rebuild trust, the person who was unfaithful must show genuine remorse, take full responsibility for their actions, and be willing to be completely transparent. The betrayed person, in turn, must be willing to forgive, not as an act of forgetting, but as an act of release to heal their own wounds. Counseling is often a fundamental tool in this process as it provides a safe space for both partners.
And this brings us to our final reflection. Redefining infidelity isn't just about understanding what happens when it occurs, but also about preventing it. Understanding the underlying causes is the first step towards building stronger, healthier, and more conscious relationships.
Exactly. Infidelity forces us to look at ourselves and our relationship with honesty. It invites us to have difficult conversations about our needs, expectations, and fears. And even though it's a painful topic, by talking about it, we can find healing and the opportunity to grow as individuals and as a couple.
And to you, our audience, we want to invite you to be a part of this community. If you have experienced a situation of infidelity or are going through something like this, we invite you to share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below.
And if you prefer and feel comfortable, we would love for you to send us your stories anonymously. Your experiences are the foundation of this project, and we want to give them a voice. You can find the link to send us your stories in the video description at our email address, anonymousvoices90210@gmail.com.
It's a way of transforming pain into wisdom. Thank you for tuning in to The Hidden Side of Deception. Until next time.